All right, cool. Alright, so this is DK64 any percent. Before I start, I just want to say this run is literally 100% different from the last time this was at a GDQ. So get ready for an experience. Alright, and ready to count down? Alright. 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Alright, so normally in casual gameplay you would spawn the training barrels, but instead we are going to go straight to DK Island. If you jump into the water, hit C up and mash A, you can swim without doing the swimming training barrel. And if you press C up by a wall, it can swim straight through it and into the loading zone for DK Island. Next trick I'm going to do is called tag barrel storage. It is a double frame perfect trick, and the main reason I want to do it, it will allow me to control my Kong while I'm inside the tag barrel. And the reason I want to do that is to make my Kong invisible.
The second frame perfect trick is a bit more difficult than the first one, as you also have to deal with the position you are in relation to the tag barrel. The tag barrel is constantly moving up and down, so it's just a bit more difficult to time than the jump.
This game goes at like 2 FPS, but it's still a rather difficult trick. So it could take me a couple minutes to get it. Oh my gosh, okay. Sometimes you'll see the screen shake, and if I don't get the trick, that means I was 1 frame off, which is rather unfortunate.
However, if he does get the trick, the screen will always shake, so.
There it is. All right, so now you can hear me controlling my Kong. If I move away from the tag barrel, it'll now be invisible. And the reason why I want my Kong invisible, because it messes with the Kong's height value on the map. And you can do fun things like telegrabbing. What happens is if you grab onto the ledge and pull yourself up, you'll just get warped to the value that is currently messed up on your height coordinate. I jumped down here and paused the game because that will allow me to set my height value to a specific spot. Oh. I don't want to get hit by those enemies because it'll make my Kong visible again and I won't have the displaced height value. One more enemy to avoid here, okay. Alright, so I need to go to a very specific spot here in order for this next telegrab to get me into the right place. Come on. There we go. And we warped up in the K. Rool's mouth and into Helm Lobby. Alright, so I don't have 100 golden bananas, so I want to do a trick called a moon kick. This will allow DK to fly through the air, into a seam and out of bounds. How it works is I need to do a ground attack right up, or an aerial attack right above the ground, and what happens is the game will add an actual ground attack after the aerial attack, and add the height you gain off the aerial attack to the moon kick. Oh, I thought I got it. Fortunately, dying isn't that much of a setback. I can just try it again right away. There it is. So I can use this pipe to clip out of bounds. And you're going to see me get some text here. That is actually the first time seeing a B-locker text. Even though in casual gameplay you only see that in Japes, it activates for all of the B-lockers, regardless of what level lobby it's in. So now I'm in Hideout Helm, and the first thing I want to do is climb this slope here that's normally only climbable by Lanky. Any con can actually climb this slope as long as you hug the wall here and jump out of your ground attacks like I'm doing now. You also have to have your control stick at a pretty precise angle here. And it's a lot more difficult than it looks because the camera is shifting every time you make a jump. It actually went really smoothly, and that clump cooperated. That clump can throw oranges down at you and snipe you and knock you all the way down. Here's another moon kick called switch kick. I need to use this switch here and moon kick off of it to clip out of bounds. Unfortunately, unlike the one in Helm Lobby, this one is a lot more precise. Oh my god.
Yay.
I've actually had it where that kick takes at least 20 to 30 tries in a run just to get it once, so I'm very happy with that. Next thing I need to do is get a height boost. What I need to do is use Chunky's ground up there to height boost myself out of bounds, because out of bounds is based on the last value that you were walking on in like actual ground. So I need to get that height boost in order to navigate to this room right here, which is behind the door that opens after you shut off the Blastomatic. And there we go. I still need to get past the crown door, so I can use this terminal here to clip out of bounds just like so. And just navigate my way to key 8. And it'll also bypass Nintendo and Rare Coin door. Alright, and I can reset back to the main menu here. You saw me flip my camera right after entering in bounds there. And the reason for that is there's a glitch called fake key that happens both in normal playthrough and speedruns. Basically, the key doesn't load into your inventory unless the camera is facing specific angles for some reason, so flipping the camera towards the window and the door will allow you to grab the key every time. So the next part of the run, I need to do a glitch called Intro Story Glitch, or ISG for short, and let's go. Alright, so I stopped the intro story about a second in, and you can see that the music is now turned off. You can do a bunch of fun things with the intro story glitch, but for now I will do a little bit of quality of life things for later in the run. This glitch has to last exactly 4 minutes and 26 seconds because that's how long the intro story is. The intro story is also divided into several parts, and I need to avoid the cutscene transitions that happen between each of the parts. Because otherwise, if a cutscene is playing during them, I'll get pulled into the intro story, and then I will fail the glitch, and obviously I don't want that to happen. You can cancel out these transitions by doing actions yourself, and you can see here, I'm going to wait in Cranky's lab a bit. I was fooling around a bit to waste time for this transition to happen, so you're going to see a fade out happening very shortly. There it is. I can cancel that out by canceling Cranky's text and heading out back into the training area. I actually started a timer on my cell phone just because I need to know exactly where these cutscene transitions will happen so I can cancel them out at the appropriate time. So I need to wait about 8 seconds here for the next one to happen so I can cancel the cutscene transition out with me entering the barrel. All right. And you can see the fade outs happening when I jumped in there. That means I was right on time with the cutscene cancel. All right, so I'm going to do the training drills. I need to beat the game now. I only need to do 2 of the 4. I need oranges in order to do a leg clip glitch later in the run, which I'll explain when I get there. And I also need to do the barrel throwing barrel. And this will allow me to beat Winky Phase of K. Rool. Alright, and again, you don't need the vine barrel because you don't encounter vines in this run, and you don't need the swim barrel because obviously I did the glitch that allows you to swim without doing it. I have time to do one more thing. Again, I have 4 minutes and 26 seconds that I have to wait to complete because the intro story is that long. So all this stuff I'm doing again is stuff I'm setting up for later. I'm taking the far warp 3 here, lastly, just so I can warp straight to the final boss when it spawns. Here's another cutscene transition I need to wait for. That should be good.
If you missed this cutscene transition, the Rareware logo that appears when the game's loading would just pull him into the intro story, and that would cause the glitch to fail.
All right, so now I'm going to do the actual things of why I need to do the intro story glitch here. So what I'm going to do is load my file in memory by examining it like so. Then I'm going to go to multiplayer. And Hito, are you ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, so the reason for entering Monkey Smash is this will actually load all of the funky weapons for every Kong into my game file's memory. You don't actually need a second player playing, I'm just doing it for fun.
Get him.
His coconut gun can fire its hurts if he shoots, yeah. It's gonna hurt. It's bigger, faster, and stronger too.
He's the first member of the DK crew.
Huh, CG? Coconut gun. I'm also collecting oranges, as you can see here. I can also get the ammo I collect here and put it in my game file as well. The next thing I'm going to do is watch the factory boss cutscene. This will allow me to do things. It will allow me to cancel out the factory boss cutscene when I actually play him, as well as get Candy's and Cranky's moves into my game file. Finally, I turn on infinite oranges. That is actually for marathon safety because I only get a limited amount of attempts at an orange cliff if I don't turn that on. Oh.
Leg
Okay, so the last part about this glitch is I actually do need to get pulled in the intro story now. And some of the things in the main menu won't actually pull you into the intro story. And the leg shake was one of them. There are 10 things that happen total, and 3 of them won't pull you in. Okay, there we go. All right, so the whole point of that was get all that stuff, all the Cranky, Candy, and Funky moves, load them into my game file, and enter my file itself without going into the file select screen. And the reason for that is the game never fully transitioned into adventure mode, which is what happens when you enter it through your game file on the file selection screen. However, if you enter your game file through intro story glitch, you can bypass the transition into adventure mode and enter your game in main menu mode. That will allow me to preserve all the stuff I got during the intro story glitch just now and bring it into my game file.
However, there are a couple side effects of this because the game still thinks he's in the main menu.
Yeah, I can't pause the game doesn't save. And
you can't take damage.
Yep, I can't take damage. I can still take the damage animation, but you won't see my watermelons go down when I do take it. Lag is very interesting in this game. This game is notoriously laggy, and your Kong, the developers decide to speed up your Kong relative to the amount of lag to fix that. Oh, I actually got that in 2 tries. That was really nice. So what I wanted to do there was throw 4 oranges to increase the lag of the game myself in order to make my Kong really fast so I can pass through obstacles like that B-locker. If I didn't turn on infinite oranges, I would have only gotten 5 attempts at that, and I would have lost several minutes just trying to collect oranges again if I failed that. Because I can't pause the game, I'm going to take Warp 1 in order to exit the level fast. And I'm going to do another orange clip here. This one is a lot more consistent than the one outside. So, oh. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is navigate out of bounds into the next area. And I'm going to go straight to Chunky's room.
So close.
Yeah. Ideally, I would have landed in the Trophenscop portal because it would have allowed me to skip that damage animation. All right, I don't have 200 bananas or tiny, so what I'm going to do is do a moon kick out of bounds into this weak wall, just like so, and fight Mad Jack with DK. This is the hardest boss fight in the game. And it's even harder when you use DK, so I'm going to let Kiwi and Hideout explain what's going on here.
Okay, so Majak has two different specific movements. He has both fast jumps and slow jumps. And what you want to do, what you want to do is manipulate him as well as possible so that Majak thinks you're multiple squares away. And when you're multiple squares away, he actually does fast jumps like that. And basically, we want to manipulate him so that he's in a position on the edge that we can get to the switches as quickly as possible and get through the phases as fast as possible. There are 4 white squares and 4 blue squares where a switch can spawn on each cycle. That is completely RNG dependent based on movement. So the only thing we really can control in this fight is just our position relative to Majak and where Majak is on the board.
During Majak, you can get something called a phase reset. A phase reset happens when your Kong falls below the platform. Normally this fight is done with Tiny, so the developers did not expect you to be able to recover. With DK, when you do a kick, it's very easy to fall below the platform if you don't have a good kick, so Tudos needs to be very careful, otherwise you could potentially lose up to 30 seconds.
Yeah, basically I don't want to do kicks close to the edge, and I'll avoid that situation.
There's also a difference in his movement pattern for phases 1 through 3 versus phases 4 and 5. For phases 1 through 3, he comes right at you and then he goes around in a circle. Phases 4 and 5, he moves a bit differently.
Alright, I'm entering phase 4 here, and you're going to see my movement change a bit. So now he's jumping faster, and he will always jump toward me instead of jump around in a circle. So I need to change my movement accordingly here.
And just going around in the circle like this still allows for DK to get fast jumps. It's very difficult.
Oh my god.
That switch luck.
That's the worst switch luck you can get in phases 4 and 5. I need to go all the way behind him. Alright, so one more phase. He turns himself invisible for the last phase, but it doesn't really do anything. You have time for a donation comment.
Great. We have a $500 donation from Ultimus Hall. Hi, Tudos. Big fan. This is a great run. The only way you could make it better is to do a backflip for us. It would really mean a lot to the DK community. Also, mini oven.
Mini oven.
All right, so I got the most ideal switch luck on the last phase there. I'm able to jump straight to the key as well, and I actually missed it there. But I'll explain the backflip thing once I get to it, so everyone will be able to see what that is. Anyway, I am done with factory. All I needed was key 3. So I can just warp out. Remember, I cannot pause the game, so I need to take warp 1 to get out as fast as I can. All right, so you might be wondering why I only got keys 3 and 8, and the reason for that is developers actually programmed the game to spawn the final boss area when you only have keys 3 and 8 turned in. We believe the reason for this is that keys 3 and 8 are the only keys that don't unlock a new area. So if you play this game casually, the developers probably assume that you unlocked all the other areas if you have keys 3 and 8. So we think that's the reason why. But strangely enough, you actually need to have all 8 keys handed in order to watch the final boss spawn cutscene, which is just an interesting to think about from a developer's perspective on why they would do that. So we have to open japes every time you talk to K. Lumsey the first time, so we're never gonna go in there.
The lonely first golden banana.
All right, there's key 8.
And then just a small little optimization, you can kick through that second key turning cutscene to get a little closer to the door.
All right. And the reason, one more thing, the reason I don't have to unlock all the Kongs is that the final boss gives you the Kongs every time you move to a different phase because the game assumes you have them at this point. And that being said, here's the final boss area, and get ready for 12.5 minutes of awesome, exciting, thrilling gameplay.
Oh, baby.
Which means it's time for donations.
All right. We have $333 from Vlad, who says, "Oh, banana." Here's $8.01 from T-Gum. Shoutouts to Kiwi Killer 67, Hitokage 220 on the couch, and Morning to Tudos. Greetings from Germany, and put this donation towards the runner's choice.
Morning.
What is the runner's choice, by the way?
Kill the animals.
Kill the animals. Let's see what's next here. We have an anonymous $100 donation. First time watching, first time donating. Watching from Guam. And staying up for N64 is so worth it. DK64, hype! And an extra 50 if the opening song is played.
Oh,
Well, you sort of got it.
I think it counts, to be honest. All right, so we're going to finally get to the final boss here. A lot of the final boss is actually a lot of lag optimization, because as I mentioned before, the game is very laggy, and it speeds up your Kong, but it does not speed up anything else in the game. So ideally, I want to have my camera away from the enemies so their cycles go faster. So I jumped in the barrel as soon as it spawns to allow me to shoot as soon as I'm able to control Donkey Kong again. K-Rool punches the same amount of times each time I jump in the barrel, so I can just memorize how many times he punches and shoot accordingly. Generally, this is regarded as the easiest phase of the K-Rool fight. All right, there's one. Coming up for the next phase is the Diddy Phase, and this is regarded as probably the hardest phase in the whole fight. Mainly because of Diddy's jetpack is pretty crazy to control here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get damage so I can position myself to jump into the rocket barrel spawn as soon as it spawns. Just like that. What I'm going to do now is fly up. Oh, I missed a switch here. All right, so for the last 3 switches, you can position yourself so that the ammo will clip through the light switch and you can hit both of the switches at the same time. Just like so. Now, ideally, I want to do that for all 4 of them. I didn't do too well for the first one, but the last 3 are a lot easier to set up for. This looks pretty good. Good. Do that one more time. Oh, wow. What was going on there? All right, that was still pretty good, though. Yeah, just a little bit of movement optimization and knowing how to control Diddy's jetpack goes a long way in that fight. You want to talk about Winky Phase?
So Winky Phase is probably the second most difficult phase. Basically, you're hitting a whole bunch of switches to throw barrels that contain bananas. And if you throw the barrels in incorrect places, or if you miss punches on the switches, you can miss the cycle that you're trying to go for, and that messes up the entire rest of the fight. So it's just basic optimization, trying to make sure you throw everything in the correct place and not get hit by K-Rool.
Ideally, I'll be throwing them in places where I can head straight to the closest instrument pad, and then being able to play my instrument on it right away. And hopefully he'll slip on the banana right there. As you can see, like, I threw the banana really close to where he was, so he'll be able to slip immediately, or almost immediately, just like that. This next one actually has the tightest window, so I hope I get this. All right, this looks good. All right, cool.
This one's also the most specific in terms of the barrel placement. If he threw it closer to the red side, he would actually get a completely different cycle that's about 5 seconds slower.
It's actually really easy to miss the switches with Lanky's arms. Didn't troll me that time. All right, that was pretty good, Winky Phase. All right, you have time for more donations here.
We have $100 from Brew. True story. I haven't played DK64 in 12 years because every time I played it, I got nightmares. So please destroy this game for younger me, as I was never able to beat it. Good luck to all the runners. Anonymous $10 donation. I'm a long-time watcher, first-time donator. So I figured it would be fitting for it to be during one of my favorite games of all time, Donkey Kong 64. I will donate another $10 if 2DOS does a backflip as Chunky during the K. Rool fight.
Ooh, there's a lot of money riding on that then.
Here's Blue Shirt Guy 120 with $5. 2DOS, I'll donate another 15 if you backflip at the K. Rool fight with Chunky.
The stakes have increased.
Wonder J 13, $10. Morning 2DOS, literally. So I remembered that if I donated during your run, you'd do something, but I forgot what that thing was. So I'm hoping that you remember what it was. Good luck
Morning,
during your
Wonder J.
run.
All right, so for this next phase, this is actually the longest and most leg-heavy phase in the whole fight. So most of this fight is just going to be me trying to reduce as much leg as I can. So for the first part of this phase outside the shoe, I'm going to climb the corner and just look straight up. This does two things. It will reduce all the leg that K. Rool generates. It also allows me to avoid his wave attacks. And I can just sit here, and I'll do all that. He jumps the same amount of time each time, so I can just jump down right before he stops. All right, so inside the shoe, I'm also going to reduce a bunch of leg. Instead of using my gun, I'm going to put it away and look down. The toes cause a ton of leg, so looking down like this really reduces a bunch of the leg in the shoe. And throwing oranges will also reduce the leg even further. It seems a little contradictory to what I said earlier where oranges generate leg, but since I'm only throwing one oranges and looking away from the orange explosion, it actually causes less leg than the gun. And I just need to repeat this cycle 4 times, so this could get a little long. The toes have the same pattern almost every time. There are a few exceptions, but I won't go over them. It's not really relevant right now. But anyway, I just need to memorize the toe patterns and just look down and away from them every time.
And the lag reduction is significantly important here. It saves about 30 seconds just to decrease the lag so the toes move faster to get through the cycles quicker.
Mm-hmm. And if you were playing on the VC version of the game, which is essentially a lagless version of the game, even with all this lag reduction, the VC version for this phase is actually 30 seconds faster. So just an insane amount of lag here. You have time for more donations.
We have $25 from Unlink. Just had to donate during DK64. Shoutouts to the whole DK64 community. Love you guys. Mini oven.
Morning.
Yes, kill the animals and kill the walls.
All right, just got one more cycle here.
We have $50 from Milk110. Like to say thanks to everybody donating time and money. GDQ is what every gaming community should strive to be. Good luck breaking this game, and can I get the announcer to yell a big hype? Pylord640 donates $10 and simply says, please backflip.
Everyone wants you to backflip.
Jono Paulton donates $60. So glad to see SGDQ supporting Doctors Without Borders again. They really deserve our support. This one is to kill the animals. No Kongs were hurt in the making of this donation.
All right, one more time.
We have $5 from Orange Will. Mornin', Tudos, Kiwi, and the whole DK64 crew. Have a mini oven.
Morning.
Morning, Orange.
All right, so after that phase is finally done, we're going to go to the final phase of the fight, the chunky phase. And the chunky phase is actually closest to like a casual playthrough of the game. It's just a bunch of movement optimization. It's kind of a strange, ironic way to end such a glitch-heavy run.
There's a little lag reduction that can be done to speed up the cycles a bit, but it's relatively straightforward and just movement-based.
Basically, K. Rool cycles around the ring here in a predictable pattern, just like most of his other phases. And you can, unless you get hit or like waste time getting to the pads or the barrel in the middle, he'll cycle around the ring the same time every time, just like so. A good way to know when to throw punches here is to watch his shadow on the ground and just use that as a visual cue when to punch. You can see me jumping out of my super duper Simeon Slam there. Jumping out of it as soon as you hit the ground will actually cancel the animation. So that's a pretty neat optimization there. All right, 2 more hits. All right. All right, last hit. I really hope I don't choke this. Oh no! Okay, so the backstory behind the backflip there is a runner named Connor75 was on world record pace for 101%, and at the end of that 6-hour run, he accidentally backflipped and lost the world record because of it.
Adds Connor 75.
And time's coming up here. Time. And that's DK64.
Good game.
All right, this was a run I really enjoyed doing. It's probably one of my favorite runs I've done for GDQ. So before I get off here, just shout outs to the Kyle Cheeto, Sadie, and Kiwi Killer. Shout outs to TJ, Signa, and Ring Rush. They're not here, but they've done a ton of work for Any%. And I just want to say thanks to them for putting in the work they did. And thanks to the Rookery and the rest of the DK64 community. So thanks for watching.